Okay, so initially I wasn't even planning on dropping a video regarding this topic, but people kept asking me, Sticky, Deshaun Watson's contract, Sticky's Deshaun Watson's contract, Sticky, what do you think about Deshaun wanting 3 years? Sticky, what do you think about eating pumpkin pie when it's not Thanksgiving? It's not socially acceptable, guys. If you're eating pumpkin pie when it's not Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's, then you're weird. It's not socially acceptable to eat pumpkin pie when it's not the holidays. Anyways, though, back to Deshaun Watson's contract. Okay, look, I didn't think much of it, and I still don't think much of it either, but I'm getting people saying, should we be worried? Do you think Watson's asking for a 3 year deal because he wants out? No! That is absolutely not the reason why Deshaun Watson wants a 3 year deal. And a lot of people, for whatever reason, they seem to think because he wants a 3 year extension, that doesn't mean it's 3 more years of Deshaun Watson. That's not what it means. It would be 5 more years of Deshaun Watson because he has his 4th year on his rookie deal and he has the 5th year option year, and then the 3 year deal would then go into effect. So don't worry, it doesn't mean Deshaun Watson wants out soon. It doesn't mean that we're only going to get 3 more seasons of Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson gets the deal done now, then it means 5 more years of Deshaun Watson. Now, some people, for whatever reason, they don't understand why he wants a short deal, but it's pretty simple. I mean, these days, and you can look at Laremy Tunsil, his contract was also a 3 year deal. But these days, NFL players are taking shorter deals. Why? Because, look, in the NFL, you only have a chance to really cash out once. Or so that's what everyone thought. Back then, rewind like 3 years ago even, players were signing 6 year deals, 5 year deals, long-term deals after the rookie contracts. And that's not very smart because in the NFL, once you hit age 30, that's kind of downhill from there, if we're being honest, unless you're really a quarterback. But once you hit age 30, like, teams start viewing you as like some has-been player, and you don't get a contract as big as you did, as your second contract or your first actual contract coming off, your rookie contract. You're not going to get it anymore, You're not going to get a big contract anymore. So what players are smartly starting to do now is taking a short second contract, a 3 year deal. You take that, and then by the time your second contract expires, you're 28, 29, maybe 30, and you have a chance to cash out again. Get an even bigger contract before you hit the 31s and 32s and 33s, because at that point, you're not getting a big contract anymore. So what Deshaun Watson is doing is smart in his part. Now, obviously for the Texans, well, it just means once that 3 year deal expires, once these 5 years pass, they're going to have to pay Deshaun Watson again, and it's probably gonna have to be an even bigger amount of money, because a lot of people don't know this, but this is facts. Quarterbacks, they don't enter their prime until like they're 28 or 27. So what you're seeing from Watson right now, what you're seeing from Mahomes right now, isn't even them at their best. Quarterbacks are not like wide receivers and defensive ends that start their prime at 25. No, quarterbacks, it takes them a while to finally get everything down. They finally see everything that's going around the league, everything that defenses are going to throw at them. So it takes them a little while longer for them to actually enter their prime. So once Watson gets towards the end of his second contract, that 3 year deal that they're discussing, he's finally barely going to be entering his prime. So he's going to be getting paid even more. And also, you got to talk about, inflation, other quarterbacks are going to get paid as well, not just Deshaun Watson and Mahomes, even though Watson and Mahomes are probably the two best young quarterbacks in the NFL. Actually, no, they're easily the two best young quarterbacks in the NFL, but you know how contracts work, a player gets paid a lot of money, so then everyone else gets paid more, and then eventually Mahomes and Watson will no longer be the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, so whenever their contracts are coming up again, then their contract's going to go even higher. So, yeah, the Texans are going to have to pay a lot more money for Deshaun Watson. And that's fine because, Deshaun Watson deserves that money. He's earned it. And he is being smart in taking that short 3-year deal. So, I just wouldn't worry about that at all. I know some of you guys are like, oh my God, does that mean he wants to leave? No, it doesn't mean he wants to leave. He's just being smart because, in the NFL, nothing is guaranteed. And speaking on guaranteed, let's talk about Deshaun Watson's contract, or what I think it's going to be. So, saying it's a 3-year deal, I think he's going to get a fully guaranteed contract. I think it's going to be fully guaranteed somewhere around, I'm going to go 118 mil. 118 mil fully guaranteed. That puts him at about a little bit over 39 mil a year on average. So I think that's the contract Deshaun Watson is going to get. Obviously, we can do it, and he definitely deserves it, but the Texans are gonna have to be smart with their cap space. So, for those guys that want Jamal Adams, that means no Jamal Adams. That's gonna mean letting players like Will Fuller and Garyon Conley probably walk, or you have to make some tough decisions because we have 4 key players coming up, in my opinion, not counting Deshaun Watson. We have Reed, Conley, Fuller, and Cunningham. Now, depending how things go with Will Fuller health-wise this year, is going to really help dictate what they do with Will. So, just going to leave it at that. So, the Texans are going to have to be smart with their cap space because Watson's contract is coming up. And it is going to be huge, huge, huge. And actually, I've been hearing that the Texans are trying to get this done before week 1, so they're actually trying to get this done sooner than I anticipated, because I was actually expecting them to let him play out this year on that contract before working on an extension next offseason. But it looks like the Texans are kind of being smart about this, because I don't think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have actually started heavily discussing a contract yet, and the Cowboys and Dak Prescott also haven't really sat down and had discussions. I know Dak Prescott signed his little tender a few days ago, but they actually haven't sat down and discussed a long-term contract. So if the Texans can get the contract done first before Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and, even Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, because even though Prescott isn't on Watson or Mahomes level, once he gets paid, the prices are still going to go up for the other quarterbacks. And by the quarterbacks, I mean Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes in particular. So if the Texans can get the contract done with Watson before Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott gets theirs, it's going to be a huge win for the Texans. Not only that, if you recall, when the Texans paid Laramie Tunsil, an average of 22 mil a year, the Texans kind of screwed over the Ravens, because now the Ravens are going to have to pay Ronnie Stanley 23, 24 mil a year on average. And the Ravens, the way their cap space is set up, it's going to be a tight squeeze. So, the Ravens being one of the Texans' biggest competitors in the AFC, the Texans kind of, gave the Ravens something to worry about there. And if the Texans get the contract done with Deshaun Watson first, well, they're going to be screwing over the Chiefs, because, look at it this way. Quarterbacks, or, players in general, they always want to be paid the highest. If you're a top-tier player, you want to be paid the highest. Even though you're not the best player at your position, you still want to be paid like the best player. For example, Amari Cooper got 20 mil a year on average. He is nowhere near as good as, DeAndre Hopkins or Julio Jones, but he's getting paid top tier wide receiver money. He's getting paid more than them because he is a top tier wide receiver. So if the Texans paid Deshaun Watson, an average of 39 mil per year, then Mahomes is probably going to get an average of 41 mil per year or something like that. So, yeah. The Chiefs, the way their cap space is, well, if you guys recall, a few months ago, they only had like $2 in cap space. So, yeah, their cap space is looking pretty bad. And if the Texans are able to get the contract with Watson done first before the Chiefs get theirs done with Mahomes, then, hey, man, that's another win for the Texans there because they screw the Chiefs over a bit. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys for today. Don't really think much of the whole Deshaun Watson 3-year contract situation. I mean, it's really not a big deal at all. It's a non-story. Don't worry about it. It's 5 more years of Watson, not 3 more years. So we're totally fine. Don't worry about it. And like I said, it's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.